This is the lesson on the compare-contrast essay. Most people are familiar with what compare-contrast is. Comparing is just pointing out all of the similarities between two or more things, people, places, whereas contrasting is pointing out differences between things, people, places, etc. And most of us use compare and contrast on a daily basis, whether we realize it or not. For example, sometimes we may choose different routes to go to work, depending upon what time of day it is, or different weather conditions or other traffic conditions. We may choose one way or over another way, and we do that through comparing and contrasting. Well, if I go this way, what are the, am I going to have a chance to get behind a school bus? Are there going to be other factors, construction, rush hour traffic, different things to consider, whereas another route may have those similar things, may have different other things to consider about getting to work on time and in a safe manner. Also, when we go grocery shopping, a lot of times we do comparison shopping. Why do we buy a certain brand of a laundry detergent, or do we usually just buy whatever's on sale or whatever's cheapest, or the store brand? Why do we buy brand X over brand B? And sometimes that can depend upon different factors or different criteria. How do we choose a cell phone carrier? We think about all the options that they offer. We think about the strength of signal in the area in which we live. So, we think about price. We think about lots of different variables that help us pick one thing over another. How do we choose our current job, or a career choice, or a career path that we want to pursue? Also, how do we pick where we're going to order pizza from on any given night? We do things, make choices through using compare and contrast. It helps us to make those choices. It helps us to kind of understand different aspects of the world in which we live. Now, for your compare-contrast essay, I want you to compare and contrast at least two things, of course, but no more than three, at least for the purpose of this essay. I don't want you to get too many different things to be comparing and contrasting, and to kind of get a little overwhelmed. So I want you to limit to three. So pick two or three people, places, things to compare and or contrast. You can do any of the above. You can do a strictly comparison, strictly contrasting, or you can do a combination of compare and contrast. But you also need to think of your purpose as well. You need to have an overall purpose for making this compare and contrast. You're not making compare and contrast just for the sake of it. So think of an overall larger purpose for making the type of compare and contrast. Are you going to use this as a way to make an evaluation of one item over another to make a certain choice? So think of a larger purpose for making your compare-contrast essay. Also, make sure that the items that you compare and or contrast make sense. So don't compare things like Kool-Aid and battery acid. I mean, yes, you could make a mechanical comparison of the two, but what point would it make, other than just being kind of silly? So think about, pay attention to what is going to be my overall larger purpose in making this compare-contrast essay, and then select those points that you want to discuss. The points, we can call those points criteria, and choose the ones that really fit that overall purpose. So let's say you're comparing apples and oranges. I know it's a cliche, comparing apples and oranges, but let's say you were literally comparing those two items, and but your overall purpose is you're comparing the health benefits of those two items. Limit your choices or your points that you're going to be comparing to just those points that help you to achieve that overall purpose. So if you're comparing the health benefits of apples and oranges, you're probably not going to include the smell of the two, unless you're doing something about aromatherapy in there, which is maybe kind of a stretch. But the smell, probably not going to have so much to do with health benefits. You're going to think more along the lines of vitamin content, nutrition, those types of things for that particular purpose. So that purpose is going to kind of tailor exactly what things, what specifics you're going to be comparing and contrasting.